Yo, it's your boy J Best, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, episode 38. Okay, on today's episode, I will be talking about the NBA Finals, of course, updating y'all with that, and then I will end the show with my top 10 matchups in the NFL this upcoming season. All right, so first and foremost, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning and allowing me to talk about sports, which is something that I love to do. Without Him, I would not be here right now. So I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all real quick where I have been. Okay, I haven't done an episode in like 2 weeks. I missed all of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. I had a little incident recently. All right, nothing serious now. God is good. I did. Long story short, I blacked out, went face first into the ground. Was unconscious for a little bit. Was busted my lip really bad. Kind of chipped my tooth a little bit, but nothing major, and that's why I'm so glad. Nothing really brain wise, nothing. I didn't lose memory. I knew exactly what happened. And of course, when it first happened, I didn't know, but after the fact, I was able to go back and say what I did before it happened, what happened after it happened. So God is good. Nothing major, nothing to be concerned about. I just wasn't ready to be seen, if that makes sense. My lip was really bad. It's way better now. Almost back to normal. Still feel a little. I can still feel that it's not the same right now, of course, but I'm back, and like I said, God is good, man, because something really could have went wrong, right? But I think I just didn't eat nothing that morning, and that led to me blacking out. But in the Western Conference Finals, of course, I picked the Lakers to win. Did not happen. They got swept. Embarrassing. I'll talk about the Lakers. I'm in another show about what they should do moving forward. And then the Celtics, who I also picked to go to the finals, they lost to the Heat in seven, right? They went down 3-0, came back, made it interesting, but then they lost in seven, all right? So the Heat and the Nuggets in the finals. Who did I pick? I picked the Heat to win in 6 or 7. And let me tell you why, okay? I think Eric Spoelstra, okay, in the first, second, and third round of these playoffs, he has proven that he is the best coach in all of basketball, and it's not even close in my opinion. First of all, just look at the team that he has, right? Most teams they have two superstars, right? Some teams have three superstars, and they're not where Eric Spoelstra is, right? You look at Doc Rivers, he had James Harden and Joel Embiid. He's fired. Look at Monty Williams, he had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. He's fired. Look at Mike Budenholzer. He had Giannis surrounded with a great team. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis, all them. Guess what? He's fired as well. So Eric Spoelstra, who has one star in Jimmy Butler, and then a bunch of good role players. I don't consider Bam a star. I think he's really like a tier three kind of guy. So I consider him a very good role player. So looking at his team shouldn't be here, right? But it's because of the coaching by Eric Spoelstra that led them to the NBA Finals. When you beat the number one seed in 5 games, and you take care of the Knicks, and then you take care of the Boston Celtics, you made really the Knicks. You can't really say that was a statement series, but after they beat Milwaukee, I think teams should have took them. People should have taken them serious. I didn't take them serious because I thought the Knicks was going to be able to overcome them, and then I thought the Celtics was going to be able to overcome them, right? But what's the saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I gotta go for you, right? That's the saying on this show. I gotta go for you. After you prove me wrong 3 times, right? So the Heat and me are very well coached, and just the little things that Eric Spoelstra do that gets me excited to watch them play is just going from man to zone. Teams don't do that. Teams stick in man, or some teams might run zone depending on who they're playing. But when Eric Spoelstra, whoever he plays, he's going to go in and out throughout the game. And if you're a player going against this team, you have to be ready for that. You got to be ready to see them go from a man look to a zone look. Sometimes they might pressure you 94 feet. Sometimes they might not. So I just love the way that he actively coaches his team. I think a lot of coaches sit back and let their stars take care of it, but he doesn't have stars, as in plural. He has one star, so he really has to coach. And I think I really like this for him because when he was with LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh and they won those 2 championships, I think he didn't get any credit. Right? It was the roster. It was a super team. It was LeBron led. But now that they're gone, right? There's no more LeBron, no more D Wade, no more Chris Bosh, and now it's just Jimmy Butler, and like I said, a bunch of great role players. He has proven that he is a good coach. Of course, I think Pat Riley has his hand on a lot of things. He's probably giving some tips in his ear, helping him out a lot. But Eric Spoelstra is the main reason why they are here. Of course, playoff Jimmy. He has not been the same recently. He's a big reason why they're here as well, but he hasn't been the same as of late, and they still been successful. So in game one, I made a video on Instagram and YouTube 2 days ago, and I said that they just could not make a shot. Right, the Heat just couldn't make a shot. They went down by 17 at halftime, and they really couldn't get back into the game. Right, you're down by 17 in Denver. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get back into that game. So I said, I don't expect them to shoot that bad again. Max Strus went 0 for 9 from 3, one of the best 3-point shooters. Caleb Martin 1 for 7. I expect him to join the party eventually, right? He didn't join the party in game one or game two. Jimmy Butler had like 13 points, and I think they only shot 2 free throws that game. So I said they're going to have a different approach, right? Erik Spoelstra is going to figure it out. They're going to figure out a game plan in order to steal a game. So I picked the Heat to win game two. And what happened? They won game two. All right, the Heat beat the Nuggets 111 to 108. So that series is tied 1-1. So one thing that I noticed in this game is that Jokic was a scorer. Okay, he wasn't that facilitator. He wasn't getting people involved, and it had to do with, yes, the Denver Nuggets was missing some shots, but Kyle Lowry came after the game and said that we focused on making sure that we bumped them when they cut to the basket, making sure they didn't get any easy layups. Because in the first game, Jokic was backing people down, just pitching it down low to Aaron Gordon for a layup. So Aaron Gordon, them having like 14 points in the first half, something like that. So they really changed the way they approached the Nuggets. They let Jokic eat. Jokic only had 4 assists. He had 41 points, 4 assists, 11 rebounds. So I think that has a lot to do with why they won that game, because they took away the others and they said, you know what, Jokic, try to beat us by yourself, and he couldn't do it. Jamal Murray had 18 points, 10 assists. That's not a bad game, but the way he's been playing throughout these playoffs, you expect better. Jimmy B only had 21 points. Like I said, playoff Jimmy has not been active lately. We haven't seen that big game from him since, I think, game one in Boston when he had 35, something like that. We haven't really seen playoff Jimmy since then. So what has been allowing the Heat to win games, and it's the others. Bam had 21. Gabe Vincent had 23. Duncan Robinson had 10 points in the fourth quarter. Max Strus shot 4 for 7 from the three-point line that game. Like I said, in the first game, he shot 0 for 9. I didn't expect him to shoot like that in the first game. Definitely wasn't going to say he going to repeat that in the second game, and he didn't. He went out there and shot 4 for 7. So, as a whole, this team played really, really well, and defensively, you see them going in and out the zone, trying to confuse Jokic and then letting Jokic eat. I mean, because if you look at any kind of team, I'd rather, for example, would you rather go against the 2018 Warriors or the 2018 Cavaliers? Right, the 2018 Cavaliers was LeBron dropping 50. That's all they had, right? Versus the Warriors, you had KD dropping 30, Curry dropping 30, Clay dropping 20, right? They was spreading the ball around. Everybody was getting involved. I think teams that can do that are way more dangerous than teams that are a one-man show. And when you make the Nuggets a one-man show, I believe they're easier to beat, because when everybody's making shots, when Bruce Brown makes shots, Michael Porter Jr. making shots, Jamal Murray making shots, Aaron Gordon making shots, this team is very hard to beat. KCP making shots. This team is very hard to beat, but when you take them out the game, make Jokic eat by himself, then I believe that you have a better chance of beating him, and that's exactly what happened in game two. All right, so looking at game two, they was down. He was down 78 to 85 in the fourth quarter, and it was a 5-point play, and this is what turned the game around. So Duncan Robinson had an and one, right? He drove to the basket, got the and one, missed the free throw. Kyle Lowry went to get the he got fouled, right? He got fouled trying to get the rebound off the missed free throw, and it turned to a Duncan Robinson three-point shot. So that was a layup, right? A layup and one. He missed the free throw. They got the ball back. Then he hit a three. That was 5 points in, a minute, right? So a 5-point swing made the score 83 to 85. So I think that little bitty moment in the fourth quarter is what won this game for the Miami Heat. And the Heat was also down 8 points in the fourth quarter. Right, this Heat team has proven this year that no matter what's going on in the game, you cannot let your foot off the gas. You cannot count these guys out. I remember watching, I believe it was game 2 in Boston, in the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston was up by double digits, and Boston started getting hot. The crowd started getting into it, and I just saw them pulling away. I'm like, okay, Boston got this game, but the Heat kept answering. They kept coming back down, hitting shots. They got a couple steals, hit some more shots, and kept and stayed in the game, kept it close, and was able to come away with the win because remember they won game 2. So after seeing that game, my confidence in the Heat has been way bigger than ever because I see this team never giving up, right? You can never put this team away. And they proved it the other night. The Nuggets went on a 33-9 run, right? A 33-9 run. And the Heat just stayed in it. And I kept telling my little brother during the game, I said, look, don't count these guys out. I know Denver's getting hot because remember the Heat had made a big lead. Then Denver had came back and made a bigger lead, right? But you can't count Miami out, man. Miami is a very well-coached team. And you can tell that Eric Spoelstra has these guys to where no matter what the score is, we playing 100%. Right, no matter what because basketball is all about momentum. When teams have momentum, 9 times out of 10 they can take over the game and they can run away with it. But when teams get momentum against the Heat don't let you run away with it. The Heat will come back and answer every single time, and that's all I was saying during the game. When Denver got hot, I said, "Look, Miami, just keep answering, keep hitting shots, keep it close, keep it in striking distance." And then guess what? They was able to come back and win this game. Like I said, Max Strus 0 for 9 in game 1, 4 for 7 in this game from 3-point line, way better. And Caleb Martin is another reason why I'm very confident moving forward in this Heat series because the Heat was able to steal one. First of all, going into this series, I really thought the Heat was very disrespected. I think a lot of people picked the Nuggets to win in 4 or 5, and I think if you picked them in 4 or 5, I couldn't respect it because I think you wasn't giving the Heat enough credit. I know the Nuggets are a good team, but at the end of the day, you got to see what the Heat has done. The Heat beat the number 1 seed in 5 games. The Heat was up 3-0 against the Celtics. Two teams that, the Bucks and the Celtics, two teams that people picked to win the whole thing. They eliminated both of them. So I think you got to give them way more respect than just one win or getting swept in the finals. So the Heat was able to steal game 2. I think a lot of people that had the Nuggets winning in 5 or 4 said Denver going to win game 1 and game 2, probably lose game 3. And then go ahead and win game 5 in Denver. But they stole game 2. So now it's even a deeper series. Like I said, I said Heat in 6. But now the Nuggets definitely not going to win in 5 because I don't see them winning the next game or even the game after that. The Miami might just go up 3-1 in this series. But the thing that makes me so comfortable is Caleb Martin, somebody who really could have won the MVP for the Eastern Conference Finals. He's only had 6 points in the first 2 games. Right, and Miami was able to steal one. In both games, he had 3 points. They was able to steal one while Caleb Martin is still struggling. When you go back to Miami, your players play better at home. Role players play better at home, right? I remember somebody said the lights are too bright for Caleb Martin, right? But when you go back to Miami, it's different. I think going back to Miami, he can take over games like he did in the previous series. So the fact that Caleb Martin hasn't got his feet under him yet and hasn't been able to perform well, and Miami still was able to steal a game, that should be very concerning for Nuggets fans and for the Nuggets because I don't see Caleb Martin having a 3-point game again in this series, especially going back to South Beach. And then the free throws, like I said, they only made 2 free throws in the first game. Well, they shot 20 and made 18 this game. So they was attacking more. And I knew that Eric Spoelstra would get on to them about that. Look, we got to attack the rim because they don't have any rim protectors. Jokic is not a rim protector. All right, so we attack the rim. We're going to get fouled or we're going to get layups. And I think they did a way better job at that. All right, so like I said, the series is tied. And the next game is tonight. And tonight, I'm going with Miami. Okay, I think Miami will be at home, have the crowd behind them. I'm expecting Caleb Martin to have a big game, okay? Not necessarily Jimmy Butler. So Jimmy Butler can go off. I know he can. But I'm expecting Caleb Martin to really put his handprint on this series. So we haven't seen him do it yet, right? We've seen, like I said, 2 3-point games from him. It's not going to happen again. Caleb Martin is going to get involved, and I think he's going to have a huge game 3. Got to give a shout out to Gabe Vincent, who's been balling this series, balling last series. Gabe Vincent should also have a big game, but I'm looking at Caleb Martin to finally step in there and give this team some production, which is going to make it even harder for Denver to steal a game in South Beach. All right, so I got Denver the Heat going up 2-1 in this series. And that's all for the NBA Finals. Next time I'm gonna go ahead and I'm sorry. One thing I forgot to talk about. The kind of 2 stats I want to tell y'all about. The Nuggets In the first round of the playoffs, when they played the Timberwolves, they averaged 114 points per game. In the second round, they averaged 117 points per game against the Suns. Against the Lakers, who I thought would be a better defensive matchup for the Nuggets, they averaged 118. But in the finals, they're only averaging 106. That is an Eric Spoelstra led defensive team. Okay, that's why I'm saying I'm so confident in Miami, because defensively they all bring something to the table. And like I said, the fact that they go from man to zone throughout the game just kind of gives you that. It's just it's one of the things that you just say, wow, like an NBA team really does that. You know what I'm saying? It's good. It's good to see. It's fun to watch because most NBA teams don't do it. All right, so I think that has a lot to do with the fact that the Nuggets are averaging the least amount of points per game in a series in this playoffs, and it's happening against Miami. And the Nuggets, when they're up 5 or more after 3 quarters, they are 29-1 in this postseason. So if the Nuggets are up by more than 5 going into the fourth quarter, they normally close the deal. And these are at home games, right? And the Heat was able to get that one win when it was down by 5 or more. All right, that's once again a team that does not let you run away with it, a team that does not let you pull away with games. They're gonna stay within striking distance. They're going to respond to your runs. They're going to respond to your crowd getting loud. That's what kind of team this Heat team is. That's the Heat culture. They don't get phased. It's like they're battle tested. They've been here, and it has a lot to do with Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler leading this team. And then the Heat, when trailing by 10 or more, this is like I said with Game 2 against Boston, how they came back into that game. They're 7-6. All right, they're 7-6. So this Heat team, like I said, will not go away. And in this playoffs, the rest of the NBA, when down 10 or more, they're 16-64. But the Heat is 7-6. That just lets you know that there's only one Eric Spoelstra in this league. All right, so that's it for the NBA. Real quick, I'm gonna talk about my top 10 NFL matchups. The NFL is not around the corner. Okay, it's like around the block. Okay, it's not next week. It doesn't feel like it's coming next week, but it feels like it's coming like next month. Okay, that makes sense. It's not coming till about September, but I believe that it's good to talk about the NFL too. You know, it's all about the NBA Finals right now, but you still want to talk about the NFL because to me that's my favorite sport, and not just that, but it's fun to talk about, even though it's nowhere near being here, if that makes sense. But I saw Sports Illustrated do a top 10 NFL matchups post on Instagram, and I thought it was doo doo. Honestly, excuse my French, but I thought it was bad. All right, so I decided to do my own top 10 NFL matchups, and it's gonna go a little something like this. Number 10, I gotta go with the Texans at the Panthers, Week 8. And why am I picking this as one of my top 10 matchups? Because this is the battle of the number 1 and number 2 pick, right? Bryce Young versus C.J. Stroud. This is a chance for C.J. Stroud to show the Panthers, hey, you should have picked me, or it's a chance for Bryce Young to say, Panthers, y'all picked the right guy. Okay, this is one of the matchups that, and from what I hear, they're close friends. So this is going to be a good matchup, Week 8. Both of these teams I don't see being successful this season, but I do believe that this will be a huge matchup, Week 8, just to see these two young quarterbacks go at it and compete. Number 9, I got to go with the Chiefs at the Jaguars, Week 2. Last year, the Jaguars played the Chiefs in the playoffs. Okay, we all know how that went. Mahomes got hurt, came back, won the game for him. But Trevor Lawrence made a huge leap in year 2, and I expect an even bigger leap in year 3, especially with Calvin Ridley joining the party. So to see ascending Trevor Lawrence versus a Mahomes who basically owns the league right now, or owns the conference at least, I think it's going to be a good matchup, and it's going to be it's going to be good for the Jaguars to play them in Week 2 because it kind of shows the Jaguars where we are and where we are as a team. Can we compete with the Chiefs in Week 2? If we can compete with them in Week 2, imagine what we can do in the playoffs. I expect the Jaguars to go to the playoffs again this year. Number 8, I got to go with the Ravens at the 49ers in Week 16. The reason why this is the top 10 matchup is because it's Week 16, right? Week 16, this is when you're fighting for seeding, you're fighting for playoff spots, and these two teams who is going to be in the playoffs, I believe. I think they're really going to need this game to either get a better seeding or to get a wild card spot. Well, the 49ers, to me, is going to have the division locked up. But looking at the Ravens, they're going to be in a tough AFC, a tough division, in my opinion. And I think they're going to need this game, but it's in San Francisco. And San Francisco is no joke. So I think it's going to be a big game, week 16. Number 7, I got to go with the Eagles at the Jets. All right, the Eagles, the defending NFC champions, going against a new look Jets team, that I have high expectations for, a Jets team that I believe Aaron Rodgers can take to the promised land. This is a good week 6 is a good matchup to see where you are as a team, to see where the Jets are. I'm going against a team that just went to the Super Bowl, a team that might just go back to the Super Bowl. In the Eagles, have a chance week 6 to see what I got for a team like that, because those are the kind of teams you're going to see in the playoffs. And the Jets, they're definitely not just trying to get to the playoffs, they're trying to get to the Super Bowl. So I think that's a good matchup for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets at home to go against a really good Eagles team. So Aaron Rodgers against Jalen Hurts, that is prime time. That is box office, in my opinion. Week 6, I got to go with the Bills at the Bengals. So we all know this was the Damar Hamlin game, the game where he almost lost his life. Y'all know he collapsed on the field and then never came back. But he is coming back this year, and it might be an emotional game going back to Cincinnati, going against them boys, the field that you almost lost your life on. You know what I'm saying? That's a huge game. That's a game that got canceled. They didn't even finish it. So I think emotions will be high in that game. Remembering what happened last year, and I think that the both teams are going to play extra hard due to the circumstance that happened last year. And also week 9, that's getting towards the crunch time. That's where you got to start winning these big games, especially conference games. Number 5. Number 6. No, number 5 and 5. 5, I got to go Chiefs at the Jets. All right, in week 4. The Chiefs at the Jets. This is Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers, and I think this is the first time they ever played each other. All right, so this is going to be, to me, a AFC Championship preview. I think that I'm going to talk about each team individually in the next couple episodes, but the Jets, to me, have a good schedule where they can really see where they are. When you play good competition, you really get to see where you are as a team. And playing the Eagles and playing the Chiefs, the two teams that was in the Super Bowl last year, this is a good way to measure yourself and see where you are. So I think the Jets have a good battle-tested schedule. And to see Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes go head-to-head, this could be a game that at the end of the year determines who's the number 1, number 2 seed. It really could be. So I think that's a really big matchup. Number 4, I got to go with the Bengals at the Chiefs. This is a AFC Championship rematch. For the past 2 years, this has been the AFC Championship, right? The Bengals went the year before last to face the Rams, and then last year the Chiefs beat the Bengals to go and face the Eagles. So this is a huge game in Week 17. So this could be that game that they need to get the number 1 seed, number 2 seed, whatever. They could be fighting for a seeding placement in Week 17. These two elite teams going up against each other, Mahomes versus Joe Burrow. That's already a rivalry. So to see that late in the season is really good for business. That is box office. Number 3, I got to go with the Jets. The Bills at the Jets in week 1. Like I said, the Jets have a good schedule to where they can really see how good of a team they are. For week 1, for you to go against the team that has owned this, the Bills own this division for the past, 4 or 5 years maybe. So to go against this Bills team, and really measure yourself, see where you are going against Josh Allen, right? Aaron Rodgers, you got to come prove out the gate that you are the best quarterback in the division. You got a good matchup week 1 going against Josh Allen. That's box office. Everybody must be tuned into that game. The Jets can really, really, really set the standard and let people know, kind of set the tone and let people know that we are here to take the division, or the Bills can let them know, hey, this is still our backyard, all right? Number 2, I got to go with the 49ers at the Eagles. The 49ers at the Eagles, that's the NFC Championship rematch, a game where we all remember Brock Purdy got hurt, then the backup quarterback got hurt for the 49ers, so they ended up not having a quarterback. So this is a really, really, really good rematch for the 49ers to kind of go back and punch the Eagles in the face and say, hey, you played us and it kind of got unfair. We didn't have a quarterback. Things got out of hand. Y'all was able to blow us out. But I think the 49ers and Eagles, these are the two teams competing for the NFC this year to go to the Super Bowl, and this is going to be a good game, Week 13. That very well could be an NFC Championship preview. And then you got number one. I got to go with the Eagles at the Chiefs, a Super Bowl rematch. In my opinion, I would have made this a Week 1 game. I would have took the Detroit Lions out of opening night, and I would have put the Eagles in there. Let the Eagles and Chiefs battle it out again. That was one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen in my life, and we're going to see the rematch in Week 11. Jalen Hurts versus Mahomes could be another Super Bowl preview. So I think these are my top 10 matchups compared to that Sports Illustrated trash that y'all saw. And I think mine is way better. All right, y'all let me know how y'all like that in the comments, and let me know if I'm forgetting any games in the comments. All right, but that is it for today, y'all. I want to thank y'all for hanging in there and wait for me to come back. Like I said, God is good. I really avoided something that could have been serious, right? But all it came down to was a busted lip. I mean, a swollen, like bad busted lip, and a little chipped tooth. That's all that came out of my little accident, man. But I want to thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for supporting. Y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share. If you have not, please go follow my Instagram, where I'll be posting things not every now and then, but it's supposed to be daily, right? Like every couple of days I post things. But that is it for today. It's your boy Jay Best. God bless. I'm out.